Welcome to the Colorado Cross Country Ski Association Nordic Faces. Today we're here with Bob and Ruth Wade, husband and wife cross country duo. They own the Ute Mountaineer Outdoor Store in Aspen, Colorado, and also run the Aspen Cross Country Center. Welcome, Bob and Ruth.
Hi there.
Hi. I heard you guys have so much to do with cross country. It's hard to know where to start, but I'm going to start with Ruth, ladies first. And want to know, rumor has it that you are on the U.S. Nordic Ski team. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Ruth?
Yeah, I was on the U.S. Nordic Ski team from 1975 to 1982. And it was a great experience. I really learned a lot. I loved the travel and made a lot of good friends, many of whom I'm still in touch with. And I started ski racing when I was a freshman in high school. And then I went to school at Middlebury College in the mid-70s and did some collegiate racing there, and then moved on to the U.S. team from there.
So what does it look like to be part of the U.S. ski team? Is that a partial commitment, a full-time commitment? What does that routine look like?
Well, it sort of builds on itself. It gets to be a full-time commitment. I think when you decide you're going to race with the Nordic team. When I was racing, there was a fair amount of support from the U.S. Ski Association and from the ski team itself, but we also had to help ourselves financially. So when we weren't actually ski racing in the fall and winter, I was home in Aspen working, trying to raise money for the next season and train at the same time. So it's kind of a year-round full-time deal.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite memories you have with the ski team?
Gosh, I think at the time, I don't think that this would have been one of my favorite memories, but we were often gone during the holiday season, training preseason and racing in qualifying races. So I spent a lot of Christmases in Cable, Wisconsin with the Nordic team. And those were kind of fun experience, kind of unrelated to racing, but I have some great memories about that. And then, I made a couple of trips to Scandinavia and I loved skiing over there. That's such a national sport over there that it's really fun to be part of that as well.
Yeah, well, I can imagine probably really became your second family with all the travel and time commitment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Bob, I don't want to leave you hanging out here too long because you have some feats of your own here. So I've heard through the grapevine that I think it was you and Craig Ward, who's a former Olympian, founded the Aspen Snowmass Nordic Council in 1984. Tell me about that.
Well, Craig was the driving force and vision behind that. We had at that time different pods of great Nordic skiing out at the Aspen Golf Course, which is fairly flat terrain, pretty easy terrain. We had the high school terrain that the cross country team, even when Ruth was in high school, that's where they did their training. And also a great venue out in Snowmass, about 10, 11 miles away. When Craig came back from his skiing and retired from the World Cup, he envisioned an interconnected system like they have in Europe, where it's town-to-town skiing, and where, for instance, the golf course could be connected with the high school tracks, so you weren't just constrained to these little 5 and 10 kilometer loops. So he pitched that to a group of us Nordic enthusiasts in the community. Some of them thought he was completely out of his mind. And we developed what Craig called the fifth mountain for Aspen, meaning we have 5 downhill ski mountains, and the Nordic terrain became the fifth.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, what a vision, and probably somewhat of an uphill battle, just, and probably why people thought he was a little crazy to try to get all of that connected. But I can imagine it's just, now a wonderful experience there.
Yeah.
So I think you said, did you end up being the president of the Nordic Council then when you guys founded that? Or am I getting that confused?
Yeah, that's the way I remember it. It was a while ago.
I know, time goes by, right? It
Yeah.
happens. So, thank you guys for having so many years of now this opportunity for people to have such a great Nordic experience in the Aspen area. So let's get back to business. I believe it was in 1977 that you guys opened up the Ute Mountaineering Outdoor Store. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I went to the University of Colorado, studied geology in college, and fell in love with rock climbing down there, and worked for a really iconic outdoor store called the Boulder Mountaineer down there. And so that was how I helped fund my college. And the owner of the Boulder Mountaineer and I got to be pretty good friends, and he ended up mentoring me and being my partner in a store in Aspen, a town that had a really strong Nordic background, climbing background, as well as an alpine skiing background. And we just saw a gap there where there was an opening for a store like ours for self-propelled sports. And so we started, I don't know if you recall or were around them, but the 1976-77 winter ski season was the worst in record for Aspen, probably for a lot of the Rockies. And so we opened our store on April Fool's Day of 1977, when the Aspen economy was tanking. There was everybody was broke because it had been a terrible ski season. But we were in a small kind of an office space that we turned into a retail store, and we made it work.
Yeah, well, those are perfect segues into some of my other questions, because I was going to ask you, what's one of your biggest challenges being in business, and then what type of growth revolution have you seen throughout your business? And so it sounds like the challenge might have been from the beginning, but I don't know if that was one of your biggest ones or not.
Yeah, there were some definitely some $0 revenue days in the early days, but we got involved with the schools in both helping provide product for them at real affordable prices, and also I did a lot of volunteering for outdoor programs, so kind of got some credibility in the community as giving back. And I think we've sustained that through today. I kind of believe that you should take care of the community that takes care of you with their purchases. But getting to know the community that way really helped us get a toehold, and it also introduced us to all the cool things that were going on in the community, like the Nordic skiing. There was a gentleman named Michael Gassman who had a snowmobile, and loved Nordic skiing, and he just went out and set tracks at the golf course for no cost to the community. He just did it for the love of doing it, and that's how it really got started down at the golf course. I'm not sure, Ruth, how the high school skiing evolved, but I know when she was in high school, or perhaps in middle school, they were setting trails by snowshoeing them first and then skiing them in. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was on the Aspen Ski Club Nordic team, we trained at the high school tracks, and we're still using those tracks, are still part of our system. But so that was a club-based maintenance thing, and a lot of it was just us kids tromping around on our snowshoes and packing out a 5K loop, you know, as part of our training whenever it snowed, and then skiing on that. Eventually we got a snowmobile and a, you know, rudimentary track sled, but I think that's kind of what all the Nordic centers in Colorado were doing at the time. So it just kind of grew organically from there.
Yeah, so they say, you know, you have to earn your turns for
Right.
doing the thing. You guys had to earn your track.
Exactly.
I think that's what turned Ruth into such a good marathoner.
Was the effort to get the track laid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just fantastic to hear these stories, because I mean, I think the root of all of it is, you know, an idea and a passion and some generosity in a community has really evolved into a true asset across all of the, you know, Aspen County, really. And so kudos to all of you guys who've participated in making that happen. So you guys don't sound busy enough. And I've heard in your free time, you also manage the Aspen Cross Country Center. And so I guess tell me how you fit that in and what that looks like.
Well, the Ute started in '77. Craig had his visionary moment in the early '80s, and we put together this interconnected system, which needed kind of a base, which became the Aspen Cross Country Center. We went to the city of Aspen and pitched them with the idea of their golf building sitting empty throughout the winter, maybe making some rent money from us and having a center there and some activity. So that's kind of how the idea was born. And at that time, as we were trying to build the Nordic system and get it interconnected, we were going hat in hand to Pitkin County, the city of Aspen, Snowmass Village, trying to raise funds. And so each year it was a little bit of a panic to figure out whether we were going to be operating or not.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to interrupt 1 second here. Part of Craig's vision for the Nordic system was that it be free
Yeah.
for skiing.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it pretty unique, certainly in Colorado and maybe in the US. But that was sort of the main gist of it. So we had to kind of figure that out as well, how to pay for that and how to make that work.
Yeah, kind of because of the interconnected nature of it. There's so many entry points onto the system. It would be really hard to have tickets and you know, check to make sure that people had paid. So that was a little barrier to charging for it, but also it was our feeling that everything in Aspen's pricey enough. Let's have something for free. And it's turned into really a wonderful community asset that locals and visitors alike really enjoy, and it just makes it so quick and easy to just go out for a ski.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what a hidden gem, because as you guys say, it's a rare opportunity to have something of that kind of scale and quality accessible at no cost. And I think for those people who haven't tried Nordic skiing and maybe don't want to put the investment in, that's probably a great location to go and, give Nordic skiing a shot there without a lot of commitment. But it sounds like it took a lot of sweat equity to make that come to fruition.
Yeah, we actually tried to create a recreational district and went to a popular vote, which we lost. And so we kind of reconfigured it a few years later and put it under the auspices of the Pitkin County Open Space program. And people voted for it cautiously, but it won. I think that was 25 years ago that we first got funded there. And every time it's come up for a vote since, it's been an overwhelming majority that vote for it. People really found the value in it once we won that first vote.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you guys have brought a lot of value to just the Aspen community in general, and a lot of good history there. What do you, in terms of Nordic, if people haven't tried it before and when they're getting interested, what would you say to those folks?
Well, Nordic skiing is one of the great lifetime sports. I mean, you can do it as a very young person, and you can continue doing it, at whatever level you choose, until you're, in your elder years. So
even when your hair turns white.
Even when your hair is gray. But and it's just, you can take it to any level that you like. It can be, easy touring, just a way to get outside and take a picnic or whatever. It can be, it's very cross-cultural and just a great way to get out and see the area where you are, and pick your places. You can see a lot of great places in Colorado and all over the world, actually, for skiing. And it's easy to get started. It's not expensive, and there's lots of opportunity for just checking it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if people haven't been to Aspen before, what are some reasons to go and try out Aspen from a Nordic perspective?
Well, again, certainly free trails it is a good starter. And we have over 100 kilometers of skiing with a real great variety of terrain. So up at the high school, you've got the very challenging stuff, a homologated course for ski racing. Down at the golf course, you've got dead flat for anybody who doesn't even want to do a snowplow. And connecting out to Snowmass is a mostly moderate ski, and there's also a ski all the way down to Basalt on the Rio Grande hiking and biking trail, and that the summer trail. So from the golf course, we have a view of one of the 14,000 foot peaks, Pyramid Peak. So even though you're on kind of easy, tame terrain, you're just in incredible visual surroundings.
Yeah, and I think when Ruth was talking about, why should you give Nordic skiing a shot, and the fact it's lifetime sport, I just do think it's the peace and the serenity and the ability to really experience the outdoors in an immersive way without crowds and noise and folks, and you can really go as long or as short as you'd like, as hard or as easy. And it sounds like you have so much variety there in Aspen that people can find the right fit for what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's right. And
I think so.
the equipment that, you know, the track setting, the grooming equipment we have is state of the art. The training of the cat drivers is great. So the platform we ski on is world class.
Yeah. Well, you guys really are just an inspiration. And I hope people that watch this and listen, you know, take away just a fraction of the, you know, volunteer and energy and effort you guys have put into your community, and think about doing the same in theirs. And I just want to thank you guys for your passion and dedication to the Nordic industry, because it sounds like you've just done so much for Aspen in general. Is there anything before we leave that you'd like to share, or, you know, tell folks that we're watching here?
No, I would just invite folks to come visit Aspen. I know it has that expensive movie star sort of reputation, but there are real people in our town as well, and it's an incredible community, and there are affordable places in the valley that people can hang out and enjoy it without spending a fortune.
Yeah, well, that's kind of great parting words there. And I think you guys are proof that it's a lot more than a movie star community, and there's a lot behind what's there in Aspen, and it sounds like some really inspiring stories. So I appreciate your time and wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.